Area of this Wednesday, 2025, higher education, higher analysis communication, of one high suspense MCFS Superintendent for authorized payment of 6,000 years amount of the US $357,500. Away from home, Mali and Russia have signed a series of agreements aimed at expanding mutual trade and strengthening economic ties. Another appalling attack on a hospital in Sudan has seen more than 40 people killed, many of them treating the medics ahead of the World Health Organization. These bulletin also those making news are likely to take a separate to provide. Welcome back at this juncture with your Nika Mova with the news bulletin.
The National Commission on Higher Education has released its quality assurance assessment of higher education institutions in Nigeria, announcing the immediate shutdown of 32 illegal institutions across the country. NCH report named Government Academy, Professional Journalism School of Nigeria, Divine Airline School and Management Studies, Ken Institute of Professional Studies, Press Barrows School System, Liberia Institute of Medical Arts, Great Commission Christian University, Monrovia Open Bible College, Liberia Standard Teacher Trading College, and several others as illegal institutions. The report also indicated that the suspension of lessons of 22 institutions operating under challenged conditions. These institutions include John Christian Community College, African International Institute of Science and Technology, Greater Vision College of Health Sciences, Trinity University, among others. The report was read by the National Commission on Higher Education Executive Director Dr. Edward Mokoyo during the CAD regular prayer briefing on Tuesday. Dr. Wokoya at the same time said the National Commission on Higher Education currently recognizes 79 charter accredited nursing colleges, universities spread across 12 countries in Nigeria. Former President George Weah has extended congratulatory messages to Serbia President Julius Maada on his election as chairman of the Authority of Heads of States of ECOWAS. It is taken with news on the official page of the former Nigerian president, Weah expressed support for the chairmanship of Sierra Leone president, adding that he looks forward to opportunities for collaboration as Maada undertakes his credential. He noted that given Madabio's understanding of regional dynamics and experience in international affairs, his stewardship is poised to strengthen the economic community of the West African states. Weah, who served as former Goodwill ambassador of UNICEF, said as chairman of the Authority of Head of State of ECOWAS, Bill will foster and address the pressing threats of the region's collective stability. He further described the invasion of the Sierra Leone's president as a pivotal moment for the region, stating that ECOWAS has been struggling to navigate political and security challenges, including the departure of two members and this rapidly evolving global landscape. Julia Madabio, president of Sierra Leone, was later chairman of the head of state of ECOWAS during the 67th ordinary session in Abuja, Nigeria. President Joseph Biden has, with immediate effect, suspended the Monrovia Consolidated School System Superintendent James Momo for alleged financial misconduct. The MCS suspended superintendent has ordered for full investigation to be conducted by the Nigeria Anti-Corruption Commission and all relevant government entities. According to the release from the executive mansion, the suspension follows serious reports received by the Office of the President, including a voting rights agreement of 600, that's 6,500 decks and shares valued at US 357,500. Just one years of feedback since before the FCSS president. The release also highlighted a report by the Financial Intelligence Agency of Liberia indicating USD 5, that's 451,150.60 contract signed on July 11, 2024 for laboratory supplies and services reportedly executed outside the established procurement procedures. Further, the executive commission said the allegation indicates a disturbing pattern of mismanagement and potential corruption of the Jewish Momo as superintendent of the MCSS. The Liberian Medical and Dental Council says an assessment conducted has revealed that all of the clinics operated by construction companies lacks medical doctors, laboratory technicians, and holding center for pregnant women. The council's chairman, that's chairperson, Dr. Benita Andrews, disclosed that it is surprising to observe that concession companies, which are supposed to provide good health facilities as part of their social corporate responsibilities, are in the part operating health facilities beyond required standards. Addressing a press conference in Monrovia on Tuesday, Dr. Andrews said all concession companies in Riverview, Sino, Maryland, Grand and Greenfield counties have failed to meet the requirements for operating the medical center. According to Dr. Andrew, the Liberian Medical and Dental Council will shortly begin conducting assessments in other counties in rural parts of the country. Four civil society organizations in Liberia have jointly condemned calls for the amendment of the Local Government Act of 2018. The organizations, including Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, NAMO partnered for Democratic Development, Women NGO Secretariats of Liberia, and the Center for Democratic Governance, termed the amendment as a means of undermining the viability of the county council. Central Executive Director Anderson Lyman, who read the joint press statement, said the act is intended to affect government's decentralized policy. As such, amending the act will prevent ordinary Nigerians from making inputs in major decisions at the county level. The statement emphasized the importance citizens' participation in decision-making processes to shape the country's developmental path, noting that the voters, as the direct beneficiaries of every developmental initiative, must be the opportunities to form part of the decision through county council. Recently, the House of Representatives introduced a draft bill seeking to amend the Government Act of 2018, which many believe is intended to reduce the authority of the county council. A petition seeking to enforce the eviction of Congress of Democratic Change from its headquarters in Concordia has been filed before the Civil Law Court for litigation. The follow that the fellows the alleged failure of the CDC's leadership to meet the June 10, 2025 deadline announced by the owner of the property to vacate on June 10 or risks eviction. The administrator of the late Martha Staplefield Banner, lawyer counsel John Momo, according to our judicial correspondent, has submitted 6 count petition of summary proceedings to recover possession of real property to court to seeking CBC exit from their property. Councillor Momo request to the court among other things accused the CDC leadership of being an undesirable tenancy on its property and is therefore demanding the removal consistent with Chapter 62, Section 63.22 of the Civil Law Procedure of Liberia. And the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives has officially declared his support for the Unity Party-led government of President Joseph Walker. Representative Tumo Farah said, as a son of local faculty and not a member of the Unity Party, he will work to ensure that the son of Local County succeeds as president. Speaking during a gathering in Zonjala, Local County during the weekend, Representative Fowler pointed out that all must be done in order for President Joseph Boakar's Everest agenda to succeed. Representative Fowler made it clear that people may say that a few months ago he was not supporting the Unity Party-led government, but he is the same Thomas Fowler who is supporting the president now. That's it for the news bulletin.
Media Mobile with the news bulletin, the regular feature on King's Newsroom. A reminder you listen to King's Newsroom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our own world. Seriously following this afternoon, the National Commission on Higher Education announced its immediate shutdown for 32 institutions operating illegally. Suspend lessons of 22 institutions from a challenged condition. Former President George, we have congratulated Sterling President Julius Manabio as new chairman. The authority of the heads of state and headquarters says Manabio chairmanship will foster and address pressing threats of regional stability. President Joseph Waka suspends NCSS Superintendent James Momon for unauthorized procurement of 6,000 facts and shares amounting to US 357,500. And right ahead of us, the Bureau Medical and Dental Council assessment report reveals a extreme lack of near medical doctors, laboratory physicians, and holding centers for pregnant women. All clinics operated by concession companies aimed at expanding virtual trade and strengthening work American fans for being there. The National Commission on Higher Education has released its quality assurance assessment of higher education institutions in Liberia, announced an immediate shutdown of 32 illegal institutions across the country. And CHE report named Gonet Academy Professional Journalism School of Liberia, Divine Airlines School and Management Studies, and Institute of Professional Studies, Christian Liberal School System, Liberia Institute of Medical Arts, the Great Commission, Christian University, Morovia Open Bible College, Liberia Standard Teacher Training College, among several others, as illegal institutions. The report was read by the National Commission on Higher Education Executive Director, Dr. Edward Onkoya, during MICA regular press briefing on Tuesday.
The National Commission on Higher Education currently recognizes 79 chartered, accredited, and licensed colleges and universities spread across 12 counties in Liberia. Institutions whose licenses are suspended, and these institutions that are suspended are about 22. On the previous two categories, A and B, are institutions that are allowed to continue to operate in life and repeat. Category B, which is the highest that's about 25, institutions higher than it. Category A, that's about 32 institutions higher than it. These institutions are allowed to operate. The National Commission on Higher Education commences nationwide quality assurance inspection of all universities and colleges across the country. The inspection covered the following areas: institutional governance management, two, academic programs and curriculum, three, faculty and staff qualifications, four, facilities and infrastructure. 5. Student services and support. 6. Research and community engagement. And 7. Financial management and sustainability. The inspection team comprised of National Community Higher Education Senior Management Team and other consultants who were hired for the exercise. The findings have been presented to the Board of Commissioners who has endorsed the report. Following the exercise, the NCHC found that most of the higher education institutions operating in our country operate under challenged conditions, with several requirements active. The exercise uncovered several institutional challenges, including but not limited to staff qualification, absence of requisite facilities such as libraries, laboratories, faculty lounges, latrines, among others.
Dr. Wonkoya at the same time said the National Commission on Higher Education currently recognizes 79 Caltech accredited investment colleges and universities spread across 12 counties in Liberia.
Chartered are institutions enacted by the legislature. Accredited institutions are institutions that signifies that the institution has attained a threshold level of academic quality. Accreditation is voluntarily by an institution from the NCHE. It is an option as expressed in the National Policy of Higher Education and or the guidelines and standards for licensing higher education institutions in Liberia. While licensing institutions are institutions given approval to operate. Approval to operate means that the National Commission on Higher Education has determined and certified that an institution meets minimum standards established for integrity, sustainability, stability, and educational quality, including the offering of bona fide instruction or qualified faculty and the appropriate assessment of students' achievement prior to, during, and at the end of this program as expressed in the National Policy on Higher Education and the guidelines and standards for licensing higher education institutions in Liberia. The search for quality outputs has overwhelmed the reform process launched by the National Commission on Higher Education as part of building credibility in the higher education system of the Republic of Nigeria. In the drive towards reforming the system, the NCHE undertook to accelerate its monitoring process to keep track of the performances of institutions to ensure their compliance with established NCHE standards. Specifically, the quality assurance assessment was therefore designed to examine the operations and processes.
Executive Director of the National Commission on Higher Education, Dr. Edward Wonkoya. The Liberia Medical and Dental Council says assessment of the audit has revealed that all of the clinics operated by construction companies like AY, medical doctors, laboratory technicians, and holding centers for pregnant. The council chairperson, Dr. Benita Andrews, disclosed that it is surprising to observe that construction companies, which are supposed to provide health facilities as part of their social corporate responsibility, are operating a facility via required standards.
The situation there is that the person above the standard of healthcare law in terms of medical practice is not a one size fits all. If the facility is declared as a official center with special if you declare yourself as a hospital, you get facility that require so just study from the concession companies that are supposed to be of the government with respect to corporate social, other people outside government, we just took this happening to know that you have to almost one special company and you have only one nurse in the hospital. What is actually correct that she be in a facility for more than 5, 6 years as doesn't have the means to come to Morovia because there's nobody to turn over to. So in this modern day and age where our president is on the radio and trying to foster improvement of mother and child health to reduce maternal neonatal mortality, they have nutrition companies having hospitals being run without midwife, hospital that doesn't have any delivery ward. So somebody gets to go to live and people labor inside your zone, and that person has to be already taken to Greenfield to the government hospital. And by the time, because he gets it, or if the gynecology once the pregnant woman reaches 38 weeks of 40, what have you, or the once I become and the placenta detaches of what have you, the oxygen supply will reduce for the child. So it means it's time for the child to come down. If the child doesn't come down within a specific time, whether it's a primary gravida or multi gravida, that child will become oxygen deprived, and that the oxygen that sustains the child's brain. So by the time the child gets to 2 or 3 hours away to find the hospital, the child will develop the trace of called breath asphyxia, which will low oxygen to the brain. The child will die, the child will become primitive ill. But if that child survives, the child will not be able to have adequate mentality to become a doctor or lawyer or even like a journalist, as you said, that child becomes a burden on the society. If that child barely manages to find a job, they will not have anything more to do. The child becomes poor. They have they have how do you call it, poorer children, and they have a cycle of poverty. So once it's time to deliver, just the basics to sustain. Have a midwife, have a nurse, have a day laboratory technician, have a doctor, at least a primary doctor. If they can handle what is there, they can refer to the other place, but you can you consider the still being facility just way below the belt.
The chairperson of the Liberia Medical and Dental Council, Dr. Benita for the civil society organizations in Liberia have jointly condemned calls for the amendment of the Local Government Act of 2018. The organizations include Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, AMO Partner for Democratic Development, Women NGO Secretariat of Liberia, and the Center for Democratic Governance. Center Executive Director Anna Shemiane, who read the joint press statement, said the act is intended to effect government's decentralization policy. As such, amending the act will prevent ordinary Liberians from making inputs in major decisions at the country level.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, fellow Liberians and development partners, the NAMO Partners for Democratic Development, the Center for Transparency Bureau, the introduction of a draft bill to amend the Local Government Act of 2018 and undermine the viability of the county council. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, Nigeria's governance system has been largely centralized, with local people having little or no say in decisions that affect their livelihood. This realization led to the timely passage of the Local Government Act (LGA) for short into law in 2018 by former President George Manasseh. The law represents an important attempt at decentralization by reconfiguring local government structures and providing them with powers hitherto not granted. Of worthy mention is the county council, whose makeup includes representatives of women, youth, and people living with disabilities, chief elders, and civil society. Amongst others, the county council has the power to approve county development plans, budgets, reports, as well as pass ordinances for the county. This inclusive structure is essential for gender equity as it ensures that everyone, most especially women and persons with disabilities, have voices in decision-making processes at the local level, an important step in addressing the historical marginalization of women in government. As part the passage of the Local Government Act in 2018 amidst loud applause, no meaningful efforts were applied by the then government to make the law operational. It would take 5 years to see movements around implementing the law in 2023, an indication of limited political will to truly give citizens better roles in local government. It is a decision of the press. This is why we Central Namut, Wongoso, and City have been deeply disturbed by news about a bill introduced in the House of Representatives to amend Section 2.2E and F of the Local Government Act of 2018. The progenitor of the bill, Grand Direct County District 1 Representative Honorable Jeremiah Sokin, argues that sections of the law which gives authority to the members of the county council to approve the annual county budget, and 2.2L, which authorizes the county council to approve development plans and execution, interferes with legislative oversight powers and must be reviewed.
Anderson Merriman said in a joint statement released by Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia and the Department of Democratic Development, Women and Secretary of Liberia and the Center for Democratic Governance. The grassroots advocacy organization, the Solidarity Trust for a New Day, has prepared a directive by the Ministry of Education and the Liberia National Police to ban a street parade in Allow-based graduation in the country. Then, after Chairman Mamadou described the announcement as now totally unlawful, justifiable, and in what marks a dangerous escalation in the Black administration, sustained assault on civil liberties and democratic norms.
The Solidarity for New Day, a firm alliance with We the People movement, forcefully rejects the joint statement issued by the Ministry of Education and the Liberian National Police on June 18, 2025, titled Enforcement of Ban on Street Parades During Gala Day, Graduation, and Was Celebration. This announcement is not only unlawful, unjustifiable, and disingenuous, it marks a dangerous escalation in the Rocket administration's sustained assault on civil liberties and democratic governance. As architects of the irreversible July 17 enough nationwide protest, we denounce this brazen attempt to criminalize joy and censor public expression. Disguised as a public safety measure, this decree is nothing short of executive overreach and legal destruction. We find the government's invocation of Article 15 of the Liberian Constitution to justify this ban both shameful and legally indefensible. In actuality, Article 15 stands in direct contradiction to the government's current actions. Article 15 reads, hence, every person shall have the right to freedom of expression, being fully responsible for the abuse thereof. This right shall not be curtailed, restricted, or enjoined by government, save or except during an emergency declared in accordance with the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. There's no declared state of emergency in Liberia. Hence, no legal, constitutional, or moral justification for this reckless and dictatorial edict exists. This is not governance, we insist. This action constitutes authoritarian aggression cloaked in bureaucratic language. It is a cowardly abuse of public power aimed at silencing lawful celebration, criminalizing joy, and instilling fear, even silencing the laughter of school children on the very day meant to honor their hard work, their dreams, and their hopes. The complicity of the Minister of Education in this political array is disgraceful and dangerous. The office charged with safeguarding learners has now been weaponized and transformed to suppress, to humiliate, and punish those learners that's supposed to be protected under her jurisdiction. By signing state repression over student empowerment, the minister has committed a profound betrayal of public trust, constitutional duty, and educational integrity.
And national camera mobile model regulators of youth education. Primarily, this will be in Liberia, Africa, and our one world following this afternoon, National Commission on Higher Education announced immediate shutdown of the tourist lessons of the challenge condition. Former President George Weah congratulated Southern President Julius Manuel as the new chairman of the Authority of the Heads of States of ECOWAS. Yes, Manuel chairmanship will foster and address pressing threats of regional stability. President Joseph Boakai suspends MCSS Superintendent James Momo for unauthorized procurement of 6,000 pets and kits amounted to US $357,500. Bavaria Medical and Dental Council assessment report reveals extreme lack of midwives, medical doctors, laboratory technicians, and holding centers for pregnant women at all clinics operated by contracting companies. Away from home, Russia and Mali have signed a series of agreements aimed at expanding mutual trade and strengthening economic ties. Take a break to do that for more voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. The Liberia Council of Churches former President Reverend Kofi Brown is calling for research for cabinet ministers to ensure the introduction of the new economic and new momentum in the Black African government. Bishop Kofi Brown, who serves as General Overseer of the Apostolic and Pentecostal Church International, said President Joseph Boakai has not been able to bishop for his cabinet for 22 years since he ascended to the Liberian presidency.
Almost 2 years. I think you should do it. Unless it does not have momentum. Because you want to do, and this government is blessed in a way, at constitutional level, like the we are government. We are government had 3 years and they had midterm. In this 6 year tenure, there are no better election unless this one was by election. I don't speak to the full picture. But if they were like the weird government and the weird government made the same kind of mistake, trying to maintain one set of people for a long time and telling you the same things, and we are very much progress training. So if you had 3 years to go and then there'll be the special elections in 3 years, then of course it'll be a little bit more serious. But even the people who you may consider as performers, if their goal is for the government to succeed, then they themselves will also always appreciate the fact that there is a need to always raise the team. Make sure the team has momentum, the team has what is required to be able to win. When the government performs, and now when the government officials will explain it, we're all supposed to explain it. Getting government officials explaining all the time that government performance. The other people supposed to explain it, not government officials, not just government officials. They're supposed to explain it also. The water is here. The other people, the water is here. If the rice price comes down, the other people, the rice price comes down. Not just government officials. If you're a road, my road has been temporary. Nobody has to explain it for me. You understand that? Until we get to the place where the majority of the people can say that this is happening, and not just government officials say, "Oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening." They should make it clear so people can know. So President Wakai himself, his decision. Nobody is going to force him. Nobody can force him, but he has to see whether or not his team is at its best, and it's no shame. It's part of the governance process. Reshuffling your government is part of the process. And if you think that it's not performing to expectation, you should go ahead and do it. There's nothing wrong with doing it for the sake of the country, for the sake of the people who elected you to be their leader so that you improve their lives, and you want the best of the team to be able to help you do that.
Reverend Kofi Brown is speaking. Deputy House Speaker Thomas Faras officially declared support for the new party-led government. Thomas Fala said as son of Upper County and not a member of the Unity Party, he will work to ensure that the son of the Upper County succeed as president.
As long as I'm a local man, I'm a local elder. That's what I said to the president. I said, Mr. President, for me, I'm not using
authorized procurement of 6,000 decks and chairs, amounting to US $357,000. Liberia Medical and Dental Council assessment report reveals a streamline of midwives, medical doctors, laboratory technicians, and boarding centers for pregnant women, and all clinics operated by construction companies. Away from home, Mali and Russia have signed a series of agreements aimed at expanding mutual trade and strengthening economic ties. Another appalling attack on a hospital in Sudan has seen more than 40 people killed, many of them children and medics. The World Health Organization has said. Many thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's Newsroom and sources. Veronica Mola brought you the news bulletin. Jennifer Simmons at our control and handle the technical aspect of this edition. On behalf of the team, I'm Shamon Dale. I presented. Thanks for listening and watching.